What's the right way, the when, the how, to start to move off of whether it's legend, whether it's fan favorite, whether it's made guy, whatever you want to talk about. All these situations are a little bit different, but by the same token, there's a common thread, right? And we've got some Klay Thompson stuff to discuss today. There's no question about that. But off of that Giants game earlier today, Dibs, it's kind of reached the level of a little bit of frustration sensation.
That's a buck.
Okay? Because Brandon made one error, and he also just whiffed on a throw down to second base that was not an error or not charged with an error. But you're like, that's not our guy. He doesn't do stuff like that. And honestly, the glove, to me, is not even the part that stands out. The whole team is playing much better defense than they did last year.
They're playing great baseball right now. 7 of 9?
Yes. The ills of last year appear to be gone. That defensive ridiculousness that we watched the Keystone Cops last year, they've got that figured out. And that's fantastic. And Schmidt coming up is a big part of it. He's a stabilizer. You put that glove anywhere except for first base in the infield, and it works. So that's all great. But my gosh, Brent, I think he'd be the first one to tell us if he were sitting here right now. He looks awful at the plate. He took some accountability. He says he rushed back from that recent injury. The team came to him, said, "Hey, my man, you want a rehab assignment? You want some time to get your timing?" And he said no. And then he got into the bigs immediately, and he doesn't have it. He's hitting $170. Good day today. He reached base 3 times. He got a hit. He walked twice.
$165.
Up to $172, I think, after today.
Nice.
Yeah, he got a late hit in the 7-1 defeat. It goes up fast when you're hitting that low. But I don't know, man. If you're a Giants fan and you're totally excited, and I think with good reason about what you're looking at around this infield, Estrada, right? Schmidt and JD, and none of them are. They're not
Wisely.
They're not. They're not free agents at the end of the year. Even JD's 30, but he's got another ARB year after this. Schmidt and Estrada are young guys. That looks like the beginnings of a core. And if JD is gone in a year and a half, and Luciano can go play third,
yeah,
rock and roll. Where does Brandon fit into this picture for the next 3 months?
Well, he fits in against righties because he hits left-handed, and he fits in as a defensive replacement, ideally, but the way he's played defense so far this year, I don't even know if you can do that. So the whole idea that you led this off with was, when is it good to replace a legend? Well, the answer is when you have somebody who can replace them and do better, and you have that now. You now have Casey Schmidt, who can play shortstop defensively and play it as well as Brandon Crawford can right now. Now, Brandon Crawford is maybe the best shortstop in San Francisco Giants history in terms of what he's done, what he's meant, Gold Gloves, All-Star games. I don't know if there's been a better shortstop in my lifetime going back into the Johnny LeMaster days and even before. Brandon Crawford's been that guy, and Rich Aurilia was great, but I think Crawford has been even a little bit better than Rich Aurilia in terms of what he's done at shortstop. So the answer is, when do you replace a legend? And when you have somebody who can do the job better, and they have that now.
Yeah, I just think it's funny because Guru sat in here just a second ago, and we do this a lot. They can't do him like that. And this is the one that I think really gets people. Guru's quote was, "He's earned it." All right. Let's talk about that for a second. Is it even possible to earn the idea of continuing to play when, as you said, there's somebody else who can do it better? So what are you going to do? I've always been taught in pro sports, because of the word pro, again, you're not really, what is Brandon Crawford owed? His paycheck.
It's a nice paycheck.
It's a really good one. That's what he's owed. Is he owed innings because he's Brandon Crawford? If the Warriors found somebody who could shoot the 3 better than Klay Thompson next year, what is Klay owed? What has he earned? This is a difficult question for me. we love these guys. We get emotionally attached. I'm not saying you embarrass them. To me, they've earned that. They've earned the respect, a respectful way to go out if it is indeed time. I'm not even convinced of that with Clay. I am pretty much convinced of that of Brandon. I don't think Brandon's career is going to span, beyond this one as far as getting reps over there at shortstop. Schmidt and Estrada and Luciano, it's probably time. But he's here this year, and he'll contribute. There'll be starts in there for sure, a lot of them. There's mentorship in there. I don't want Brandon to go anywhere, but is Brandon owed most of the starts over at shortstop? I don't think so.
No, he's not. He's not owed anything. The only thing that he's owed is, like you said, his paycheck and, not embarrassing him. And the only way you would embarrass him would be if you DFA'd him or if you just outrighted him and said, oh, we can't use you anymore and now you're gone. That would be embarrassing. This team would never do that. Brandon Crawford can still be a useful player. I think his days of playing 6 days a week are over. And whether it's age or fatigue or the knee issue that he's had going back to last year, he's not the same player that he was. His range is lessened. His bat is almost non-existent. And this team right now, you need to win games. And if you can win games with your most exciting player being a guy who plays your position, then I'm sorry, Brandon, and he gets that. And he was that player, by the way, in 2011 when he came up. And it's like, oh my God, this guy, Brandon Crawford, he's our new shortstop. And all of a sudden, he's getting the starts and he's getting the lion's share. And then they win it in 2012. And now he's a star and everyone loves him. It's the nature of everything. It's the evolution of the gig.
I just look at this right now, and I love what you just said a second ago. I think that we are sleeping on the urgency of the season for the Giants. The Giants don't have to win the World Series this year for everybody to think it was a good year. It's not a championship or bust year. Kapler and Farhan don't need to win the whole thing. I don't even know if they need to make the playoffs for everybody to feel good. It feels to me, Giants fans I talk to, and there are plenty of you out there, it feels to me like really what matters, the number one priority for everyone this year, is they want to see what we're seeing right now.
Right.
They want to see Schmidt. They want to see Bailey. They want to see a vision. They want to see a future. I'm here to tell you, you know who else needs to see that? Shohei Ohtani. That's who needs to see that. He needs to see Schmidt over at short and know that every 6 days when he pitches for the Giants next year, that Casey Schmidt's over there and he has his back. And he needs to see that the team looks like a team that can compete to win it all next year. You can say that this is a ridiculous notion. They've got no chance. They've got 5%. Great. I don't care if it's 1%. The Mavericks tanked the end of the season for a 1% shot at Wembanyama.
Right.
Do it. The urgency is now, maybe not to win it all, but to be good. The urgency is right now for this team.
Right.
And I think they're showing that over the last week.
And it's to be good not only for Shohei Ohtani, but it's to be good for the playoffs. It's to be good for the fan base who still has not come back post-pandemic. This team has not won a World Series now in 9 years, and I know that's not that long in terms of many of the teams, but in terms of what these fans are used to, Mark, 10, 12, and 14, since then, you've had a couple of playoff appearances. You haven't made a lot of noise. And this year, if you can bring up young players and win, that goes a long way toward your next 5 years.